LegalMatch has been good for me as a small practice attorney because it really gives me a lot of control over what I'm taking on and the type of cases that I get. It takes a lot of stress off of me to know that whatever my workload is, it's almost like a spigot that can be turned on at any time. There are always leads, and most of them are pretty good. You can go through and they provide the advantage of giving pretty good deal of information about the case before you have even been put in touch with the client, so that you can weed out the ones that don't look like something that you would be able to help with. And so that once you first make contact with the client, you have some idea of what it is they're looking for and can really just hit the ground running. That is just extremely useful. My first month on the service, I signed 5 long-term domestic cases, some of which I'm still working on today, over a year and a half later. So it has been something that really assures that as an attorney, you have a baseline of matters that you can be working on and billing on, and having that at the base of your practice is extremely useful. And that's not even to mention the word of mouth stuff you get if you sign these cases and do good work, because people need attorneys in all aspects, and the more you get your name out there, the better it is. The biggest help has been in the flexibility it's provided to me to tailor my intake and my marketing toward what I can handle, because at the same time, you have family obligations, you have obligations that don't deal with the practice of law and things that need to be handled, but you're still running a business and you still need to make sure that it's afloat. And that's a tough balance to strike in general, but having the LegalMatch database in the background to fall back on is something that really makes it easier to pick up on one end when you need to, or to let off a little bit when you need to. There's no obligation to be calling 15 or 20 people a day if you can't handle that. But at the same time, if you've been out for a while and you really need to start getting into it a little bit more, it's always there, and people are always responsive. You know what the needs are, and you're able to see how you can meet them. And I've appreciated that a lot during the pandemic. There are always follow-ups. There's always somebody that's there to check in and see if there's anything that you need as an attorney, or any additional support that you can get. It is not a situation where you sign the contract and you're locked in and then you're just on your own. Now, some people, that's fine. And I'm pretty self-sustaining and don't need a lot of hand-holding with all of this stuff. But anytime there's an issue that comes up, I know that I can reach out to somebody and have it addressed with relative ease. And I know that somebody's going to be keeping an eye out to make sure that the service is working for me. And if there's something new that's being offered, or some new feature or assistance piece that may be useful to me, that I'm aware of it, and that I know that that is there and can best handle my work as an attorney without having to worry about any kind of difficulties with marketing. It depends on my caseload. When I first started out, I was doing a lot, but as I said, the leads are quality leads largely. You can certainly focus on the ones that you know are going to be useful to you as an attorney, and sometimes those cases will sustain you for long periods of time. And depending on what you're carrying, then you can tailor your outreach based on that. I certainly am using it fairly frequently, at least on a weekly basis these days, but it's always there and the leads are always there. So your mileage may vary, but that level of flexibility is going to be useful to any attorney that is running their own practice and needs this type of marketing component. It varies. I would say my goal is probably about 33% when I'm casting a wide net. I think that is reasonable and achievable. There's some months when it's more, there's some months when it's less, but given the ability to gauge the cases in advance. You're really aware all cases are not created equal, for sure. It may be that there's a party that just needs an attorney to hold their hand in signing off on property settlement agreement, and maybe it's a couple hours worth of work altogether and not that much. Or it may be that it's a contested divorce with 3 houses and 3 kids and 401ks and support issues. It's going to result in a multi-day trial over a year down the line. So that being said, I would say shooting for about a third of the cases is a perfectly reasonable expectation. And if you're getting that many in, you're certainly going to be doing a lot better coming out than you were going in, and making a pretty good return on this investment. This is the first kind of premium service that I've ever used, so I don't really have much to compare it against. I have used some free services for immigration stuff that I do and that my partner does, and they're fine. You get what you pay for to a certain extent, because you really do get your inbox inundated with leads, but most of them are just things that you can't really do anything with. And it's not a way to sustain a business, for sure. I mean, obviously, any attorney, you want the quality of your work to speak for itself, and you want to have the phones ringing with word of mouth stuff and with people who have been satisfied and are referring you to other people. But just knowing that that alone is not going to be enough, and that you would need sometimes an additional service to do this marketing. I've been satisfied with LegalMatch, and I don't have much to compare it to, but just based on my experience, it's been very useful. The way to get the most out of it is to just keep monitoring it and be quick on the draw, so to speak. When cases are posted, you get the notification immediately, and the sooner you reach out, the more likely you are to get something that you're going to sign and you're going to get some work out of. That being said, it's not a deal breaker to most clients if you're not the first person to contact them. So, I mean, there are cases that I've signed that have been sitting in the database for a while, but as a general principle, I would say just being available and being alert and responding quickly has been the best way to get a quick turnaround and to get positive action on some of these leads. Make sure that you're attuned to it. Make sure that you've set a reasonable expectation for yourself for what you need to be bringing in, and then just plug away at it. Being first is good. Being fast is good. But you obviously want to make sure that you're responding to work that you're going to be able to take on, and you're able to position yourself as the person who's best able to serve the needs of these clients. So striking that balance takes a little bit of time, but more or less, if you plug at it, you're probably going to be doing pretty well with this service. It depends on what your plan is for yourself. I mean, I would be hesitant to advise any new attorney to go into solo practice. There are just so many pitfalls and things that you don't learn in law school, and that you don't have to study for the bar. It's important to get that experience in other areas before striking out onto your own. That being said, if you are looking to do this, have a business plan, have a plan for the services that you're going to offer. And if your plan includes one of the areas that LegalMatch provides leads in, it's worth your time and your effort to look into it, I would say, because the value for the price is good. It's a pretty big outlay, but the database is so big and the quality of the leads is generally so high that if you have a plan for your own business and a plan for what you're going to be spending in marketing, you should probably factor in that this is a pretty good use of that budget to get involved in this service.